What's up, TWX? Yo, yo, yo. Okay, we'll just give it like a couple minutes. Also, just let me know if my screen like shuts off. Just like message me, TWX, because I feel like it does it once a stream it does it. It's so weird. I don't know why, dude. And then after it does it one time, it's like good usually. What's up? How was y'all's week? This sounds better. Yeah, man, how to get a mic? Had to, brother. Dude, I don't even know. I don't even know what mic I got. I said it looked cool. Let me try it. That's how that went. I'm not gonna lie. Not even joking. Yeah, we're just gonna do like a Q&A today, honestly. Like, don't have anything planned. But yeah, I can do like trade reviews. If you guys want to send y'all's losses in the chats or your trades and I can review them, or any questions, that's kind of what we're doing today. So yeah, you guys can start putting questions in the chat. So when we start, I'll have something to talk about. We're gonna start at like 11 or so. How was y'all's week though? Y'all have a good week trading? Okay, I'll check that out. Oh, flowchart? Oh, that's a good idea. We'll have that pulled up. Alright, so you can go ahead and start it, TWX. So let's go ahead and start with Johnny. His trade here. So let's look here. This looks like the 40 or the whatchamacallit, 4-hour chart here. So is this the highest time frame you're using here? I assume, yeah, okay. Okay. I'm not sure what day this is, but this is CL probably. Looks like we have an SMT here. SMT at the lows as well. Okay. Let's go the hourly. 6 a.m. formed from a expansion candle, so 2-stage SMT. Okay. Okay, so you're entering within the reversal candle on the lower time frame, which is not something that I really teach, but you can do it, right? No, hold on, this is a 30-minute here, so you're on the first one. So what I would recommend though for these types of trades, I did this on Monday, and I'll show that example. But ideally, you don't want to enter on the first CSD. Generally, it's just riskier. You kind of treat it like the fractal model, where you want to enter on the always the second OBs. Now in this case, it's terrible. It's all the way up here. In this case, it worked, but unless that's what you do, maybe you just enter on the first CSD and that works for you, which is fine. But if I show you this trade that I took on NQ on Monday, so coming into the week, we took out this low, but we have all these failure swings, especially on ES. I'll show you guys. Like, check out all these failure swings. So when you think about a reversal, you want everything to the left cleared, so there's no reason to return back to that level. But as you see, if we cleared out all these lows, it would be more viable to frame a reversal, but we don't have that. So we're coming to the day. on Monday, where we kind of just opening up into the range, right? Where we have this fair value gap. So when you think about a continuation lower, what are we opening up near? We're opening up within a key level, which would be the ideal area for the high of the week to form. So when we look at the profile here, right? Even if we were going to be bullish, we would need to see what? A protected low to trade away from, which I don't consider any of these protected lows necessarily. Maybe you would consider these as opposing candles, maybe. But either way, I would wait for a driver, right? Remember, when we have an assumed low of day, we would want that driver to either expand away from it immediately or make an opposing run and then a close through. That's how we pair our entries with drivers. But so I'm just going to wait here because even if I want to be bearish, which I was leaning bearish, I don't have a reversal. I don't have a reversal prior to the driver where I can trade away from anything, right? This is a swing point here. This is a inside bar. Like literally just consolidation, really. Pretty much. So this is where I would need to see a reversal off this high at 930. Because if you don't have a reversal prior to a driver of the high and low of the day, then that driver should create it, ideally. And when you look left, there's nothing else to reverse from, right? When you think about framing a reversal for the high and low of the day, write this down. You want it to be within the current day's range, a key level within the current day's range, or with the previous day's range, right? Anything to the left is irrelevant. Like this fair value gap is irrelevant. Generally, like I don't really care about this stuff. It's not aligned with current order flow, you know? And for me personally, I just like highs and lows to reverse off of in general. So this is the only thing that we have, right? Prior to the open. So this is a very relevant point. So when I see price engage at that level at 930 and then create a reaction with an SMT, this is very significant, right? So look here. So now I'm just assuming that this forms the high of the 4-hour candle. Now maybe you guys are like, well, this wick is kind of large, right? Well, it's a specific thing. When you have maybe a wick on the kind of the larger side, you're not sure. Well, this has to ideally be the 6 a.m. candle because of the drivers. So the drivers, there's enough volatility in that candle to expand. So it's very specific when you create the high of the wick from a fractal model, or sorry, from a manipulation, right? That's generally where you can trust trading away from that, right? And we have a relevant time in the day where there's enough volatility to also expand. And the fact that these are like low resistance lows, like I'm not expecting price to just hang around here for 30 minutes, just hang around here for 30 minutes just for the 10 a.m. open right now. It doesn't really make sense. So here I'm trading within a candle too, just like you did. But I'm not entering on the first CSD. I'm still waiting for a little bit more confirmation. Kind of like the fractal model and the expansion model. We're not entering the first CSD, ideally. We're entering on the next CSD. Now, I will teach you guys how I do enter on the first CSD, but that has to do with closures, not within reversal candles. If you guys want me to go over that, I can. Yeah, anyone have a question on that this day? So if I was to go to the flow chart, right, I have an idea, which is to frame back to the low of the day, right, which is session lows. So a key level, right, which is the hourly key level. So we have that. We need to be engaged. So once it's engaged, now we ask yourself, does the candle support expansion? Let's go see. Right, small wick, yes. So does the 4-hour support expansion? This is a kind of a yes and no question. It's just because, like I said, if you guys didn't know before, now you know. Within 6 a.m. candle, if it has a kind of a larger wick, it's still fine to trade, right? Especially because of we're creating the high of day within this candle, and we have the SMT and all that. So it is yes, right? And then since you can enter, right, we'd wait for a fractal model, but in this case, I'm not waiting. It's just one of those like specific scenarios where, yeah, it's just going to expand in one candle generally. So, but that just takes a little bit more experience maybe to trade. So with this candle here, or this example you showed me, technically invalid in my case, but yeah, I mean, you're trading with an 4-hour expansion candle. Looks pretty good here. Also with this, it just looks like consolidation, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if this is the daily opener here, but it opens high first, which is not generally what you want to see. It's kind of a weird day, to be fair. I'm not sure if you took that, but if you did, nice trade. Lucky that one worked out. Can you explain how to trade prior to drivers? Yeah, it seems to get stopped out. Yeah, sure. So let's go over drivers real quick, because this is something that is very important in my trading. It's very repeatable. So let's go over let's say that we hit a key level prior to a driver. Okay. So this is often when you have a London low today or an Asia low today or something like that. And let's go actually to some examples, because again, I can already refer to some examples here. Specifically like these days. Actually, we'll go over these days first actually. Okay. So what about this day right here? So you see within the 2 AM candle, we hit this opposing candle, which is a key level, right? And we have failure swings to targets. So we don't actually know, this is the low of the day. And I know a lot of people ask me, do I wait for CSDs? The answer is only if you have a, let's say, like a London low today or an Asia low day. I will refer to that CSD as a means for continuation, pretty much. As well as confirmation, like it's good to see. But I'm really referring to the drivers to simply expand away from the assumed low of day. So we don't know if this is the low of day until the driver expands away. So whenever you have an assumed low of day, remember this, the driver should expand away from that. Right, so what we see here, you see this all the time. This is 8:30 news, red folder. So you see the fact that it's expanding away and not, continuing lower? Because if it's going to be a bearish day, then when would we expand lower, right? These key times. So the fact that they're not doing that leads me to believe that the low of day is already in, and we can actually pair our entries with this. And here's 9:30. Does the exact same thing. So maybe this is something you could enter if this is just too big of a stop loss for me personally, but since 8:30 kind of expanded away, you could assume that the low of day is already put in. You could use that driver to expand. I think there might be a 15-minute CSD. Yeah, you have a 15-minute CSD here, if you consider that one. And then you have these series of bulky opposing candles that you can kind of assume expansion. So let's go over like my model here and how I traded this, because I did trade this on ES though. So as you see, low of day is put in here. And now we are trading 6 AM expansion candles away from the low of day. So if we go to the flow chart, do we have a key level hit with the profile? Yes, we have London reversal with the 4-hour opposing candle hit, right? So does the candle support expansion? Let's look. Yes, right. Small wick, draw out the 0.5 of this candle's range. We're respecting that. Okay. So is the 4-hour candle aligned? Yes. Right. If I go here, they are aligned. Now I traded this candle here. Why did I trade this candle? Well, here we form a swing point. Right, so I'm expecting this next candle to expand. Right. I hope you guys can't hear that vacuum. I'm sorry if you can hear that vacuum. Where is this at? So 10 AM opens here. So you see how it's opening within a fractal model? Right, 9:30. So here I'm just taking a positional entry. Let me show you why. So this to me is a one-sided bias. So you guys see me sometimes, I don't wait for a 10 AM low to form. This is only when we have a one-sided bias, right? I see failure swings at the highs, like all these failure swings up here, right? We hit that key level, remember? And then we have both drivers expanding away from the low today, right? The fact that we didn't hit any highs and lows yet for the day leads me to believe that we're just going to expand, right? So I don't really need to wait for a wick to form. Okay, hold on. I'm assuming that, are we good here? Chasing, gotta sorry. So 10 AM opens right here, this next candle. And it's like the daily, where can the wick form? Well, this is the only area for the wick to form, right? Because for continuation, what do we want to see? We want price to form its wick in the upper half of this candle because we want a small wick. So this large range here, this large opposing candle is the only area for that wick to form. So you could simply put a limit here. Again, because it's a one-sided bias. And we can aim for these highs and potentially beyond that. So at least 2R is your first partial. Or you could simply wait for a wick. That's not invalid. But the only reason why I'm not using 3-minute here is just because it's a little bit larger series. We already closed above on the 5-minute, so it's the same thing. We closed through it over here anyways, so either or you could do. Here you can also enter. Right, you could take that, but again, I entered a little bit before. So you hit 2R there. Now it's just about management into targets beyond that. So if you look here, we have this. This is my final TP. I don't remember if this kid's hit. I think it does. Pretty sure it does. Like comes back and then reaccumulates and it goes. Yeah, so does that trade make sense? There, how we use drivers. Let's go over another day. Real quick. There's this one too. Pretty much. So if you look here, let's go to the previous day. Right, previous day is kind of weird to gauge, but if we just use a daily profile in the previous day, so remember we're concerning ourselves with the previous day did. How did it close? Expansion candle. If you want to see continuation, performance wick in the upper half. So we have that. Now we want to form it from a key level. So if we go here, from a key level, let's see if we have a key level. Yes, right. This fair value gap. Right, so we already saw the wick on the daily expansion. It's supporting that. When we think about the way candles form as well, right? It's opening low first. So it's opening low first. That's also a great condition to see. So now it's just about trading an expansion candle away from the low day. Now, this candle here, you can trade, but we didn't have a fractal to trade it regardless. So when I go here, so when we look here, I have to wait for this candle to open up because of there's no fractal model within this candle. So in this case, we're just opening up within a fractal model. So see how the 9 o'clock candle creates a fractal model. So I'm just expecting 10 a.m. to open low, expand, right? And I also want to take your attention to something. So you see how these lows, right, and this low, you see the separation between them? Right, this is what qualifies a relevant swing. There's a space between, right? This is where you want to see reversals, right? Because if we clear out everything here, there's no reason to return to this level here. We're also creating an SMT here as well. So now let's bring in drivers to the equation. So where's 930 at? 930 is right here. So see how we hit this level prior to 930? So when 930 just expands away, this validates this as the low of the day, right? Pretty much. Okay, I'm assuming. Never mind, that's my friends. So now let's just try the fractal model basically, which I think I took this on NQ. All right, so all I need is to close above here. We had 10 a.m. news. So again, what is 10 a.m. doing? I'm gonna show you guys we had 10 a.m. news. Right, there's 10 a.m. news. 10 a.m. news is also expanding away. Again, another way we can pair our entries. I believe I just took it like this, and my first TP was 2R, and I was looking beyond that, obviously to this high, and maybe that high, but it came back from my entry, so I just got a half win here. Right, so and then I went to break even, and you're gonna see it comes back. Eventually, there it goes. Maybe like took it like this on the retest. Would have got a little bit better RR for sure, but I didn't do that. So, yeah. So that was that day. And we use drivers. So what's another? These are really good examples. And then that's enough of the drivers. And so Monday. So like again, if you don't have a higher low of today put in, then that's when you want to see the drivers do it. Which I showed you an example of the first example I showed you guys, which was Monday of this week's trading. So these are both examples of the low of day being, not New York. So this low of the day is printed in Asia session, but so is the high of the day. But when we look at this candle, let's use the flow chart. So here's our key level, 4 hour. That's creating the low of day. Okay, that's cool. There's a daily candle support expansion. The answer is no. Right? Look at this candle. Very large wick. So it needs to meet the criteria for trading a reversal candle. So it does, right? Because the high of the day is created early on, right, in Asia session. And it's opening low first. That's another requirement. And then we have to trade away from the low of the day with 4 hour expansion candles. And the low of the day ideally is formed before 10 o'clock, which is also Asia session. But here, do you see how this is just internal to external? And the way this candle is forming supports that move from internal to external, because the daily candle is opening low first, right? That generally supports a bullish candle. You see how that works there? So I'm concerning myself with the drivers to confirm this as the low of the day. So as long as I see the drivers expand away from this level, that's a confirmation to me. This is the trade I took on the 15-minute, 1 minute. So here's 9:30. So you see how it expands away. Now we validate this is an opposing candle here. And then if you look on the lower time frame, this is a swing point high. See how we're not reversing from the swing point high? We're more so consolidating. That's another confirmation. Then you have an SMT here. You get an opposing candle close, and then we're off. Does that kind of make sense? And then if you guys are like a trader of the 1 minute and stuff like that, 15-minute, you want to be trading within like 1 hour expansion candles as well. So where are we at? Okay, so look here. So see how the low of the 1 hour candle, first off, it's a bullish expansion candle. The low of the candle is just created from a fractal model. See that? Also the 30-minute is an expansion candle. So we're just aligning 4 hour, 1 hour, 15-minute in the same direction. Now remember, we have to adjust our target to the current day's high because we're not expecting expansion past this high, because the daily candle, the way it forms, doesn't support that. So you see, we can even anticipate price closing back within the range, because it does. Right? We can anticipate that. So that was that day, right? Just waiting for 9:30 to confirm this. And then what about this next day? More of the same thing. The daily candle also opens low. When you think about retracement signatures or continuation signatures, they leave failure swings, right? Because this doesn't look like a reversal, right? We don't reverse from equal highs and equal lows. This is very choppy and slow as well. There's no fair value gaps within this leg. So that also, is another signature. So the daily is opening low into this fair value gap. This is a signature you're going to see a lot. Specifically, the previous day expands. If we create an expansion candle, usually going to be fair value gaps. And if the daily candle the next day, if the previous sessions kind of retrace or consolidate, and then we, manipulate into that gap, that's usually a good sign for continuation. But anyways, that's what we see here, right? So we open low into that. So we hit a key level, so that's cool, right? Hitting a key level, that's our idea, internal to external. Now does the daily support expansion? Let's look at that wick size. So it does, right? We can just simply use this wick, okay? So that does. So now we need to be trading, a 4 hour expansion candle away from that. So there is news this day. It's in this candle. So as you see, the 6 a.m. low is formed from a fractal model. Sorry, my little brother's cleaning right now. I hope you guys can't hear that. I hope it's not like super annoying. But I think we had news. Let me see here. Yeah, we do. So you could have taken this, and I think I did take this actually, and I got like a really insane break even or something. It was either on NQ or ES. I don't remember, but I must have taken this. I don't think I put my stop loss way down here. I don't remember, but either way, this is valid, right? Because as you see, the driver is expanding away from the low of the day, right? So that's either way. This is valid entry in my opinion. So it does go 2R, but I went in with like one contract here, so I couldn't partial, and my greedy ass was holding this to here, so I didn't make any money on this. But it's a winning trade. Okay, you can win a trade that from that. But it hit my break even, so now we have to roll this over to 10 a.m. Right now you have a swing point, you have a close above this high, and we still have Asia session highs to target, the current day high as well, so that's always a good sign. So now I'm just trading candle 4 higher. Oh my, that was a crazy voice crack. So now it's just like, are we opening up in the front? Hold on, this is lagging. I'm at my parents' house, right? Lagging. Okay. So do we open up within a fractal? No. Right. We already have candle 1, candle 2, candle 3, candle 4. We don't trade candle 5. What about 30-minute? We have to create a fractal model for continuation, which is what we do. Whoa, what the hell? Jeez, that was laggy. Okay, we create it right here. We sweep out all these lows. We also have this opposing candle. And we also create an SMT here with ES. So all I need to do, candle is put in for the low of the candle. So candle 2, we have the CSD. Yo, what? I don't know how this got deleted. Let me get these back on. What the hell is going on? Why I got these candles on my chart, bro? Sorry. All right, so here is candle 2. We have a CSD, so now we just need a continuation candle, right? Opposing candle, there we go. So close above there. It's a valid entry. So this is what I took. So I took 2 trades this day. One was that break even, and then there's this win right here. So it gets a little bit choppy, but we eventually go. Right? Does that make sense? So the fact that the drivers, so 830 and 930, failed to reverse lower. If you check here, here's the 930 candle, right? Didn't reverse, kind of expanded, but the fact that it didn't reverse, right? That's important, right? And then we get a continuation to 10 a.m. So does that make sense? I think this is a good example as well. Pretty sure. I think. No, I'm thinking of something else. Oh, this is a good example, guys, right here. So when I come prior to the driver, I just got 30 minutes left. Try to clean something else. So prior to the driver, we don't have a higher low today established, right? Oh my god, bro. Sorry if you guys can hear that. It's so annoying. But here, Monday, huge range, right? So I'm never going to look for continuation lower. So this is my bias for the day. I want to be bullish. So I need to trade away from some protected low to be bullish, right? So prior to 9 o'clock, we clearly don't have that. We just have a bunch of feather swings. Let me turn on the session indicator here. I have a bunch of feather swings. So I'm looking for 930 to create the low of the day, right? I'm looking for price to trade into these lows to use as a reversal point at that key time, which is 930. So here we go. Here's 930 candle, right? So this is 930 candle. So the next candle is the 10 a.m. open, right? So we're opening up within a fractal model here. I go here, right? I'm framing a reversal from a 1 hour key level, which is the 1 hour swing low. So now I ask yourself, does the daily support expansion, right? Here, I would say yes, right? Pretty small wick. We haven't yet to expand to either direction. We're respecting this wick here. So that's good. Now, am I in a 4 hour expansion candle? Yes, right? because we're opening up within a new candle so it can support expansion, right? And we're also opening within a fractal model, so I can go straight to entry, right? So look here. I'm using 3 minutes. So we don't have a CSD within candle 2. So we have to create that. So we have created that. So it's valid to enter here. Dude, my parents' Wi-Fi is like so bad. So we could enter here, but like the stop loss is way too large. So I'm just gonna wait for a smaller range for continuation to form, which is right here. This is my entry. I'm not sure if I entered on the retest. Let me check. Hold on. I'll tell you if I did. Okay, I definitely entered on the retest. That's too much money to risk. No, I entered right there, right? And I was like 3R. That's my entry here. For my TP. Just for a little, but eventually went. Game. Sorry guys, I'm at my house. This is why you hear my brother and like lagging. But yeah, I took, and here as well is I'm entering prior to us taking out this high, right? Any highs, you always want to enter prior to taking out these highs. So that was that trade. So yeah, those are some ways I use red folder. So we had a C2 closure on the 4-hour for 6 a.m. expansion. Is the trade valid? Whereby I drop straight down to entry time preparing. Is the same 1 hour 5 minute? In your course, you mentioned waiting for the 8 a.m. Yeah. Okay. So like you can enter prior to those. I know like AM talks about he likes to enter prior to these drivers if he can. But the framework just has to make sense, which a lot of times you don't really get that, I feel like. But if it does, you can enter prior to these drivers and use the drivers to your advantage, right? So here, this looks like the 7 o'clock candle. So like, yeah, you can enter this, right? Because when you think about it, price is not going to wait around probably for like 2 hours just to wait for it to take out this low, right? It could probably expand just because we're so close to this low. So yeah, this is valid in my opinion. That's fine. I'm work rate, so I can't stay for long. But can you please explain the 1 hour 30 minute fractal entry part? I understand the 4 hour is used for profiling key levels, but how do I incorporate the fractal model on the? Yeah, sure. Oh my gosh. Reversal. 6 a.m. New York reversal, 10 a.m. New York reversal, right? We're always going to be candle specifically. It needs to be a reversal into expansion candle. So what do I mean by that? It's going to look like this. So here's 10 a.m. right here. Right, or the one I traded, which is the 6 a.m. See how they're taking out the previous candle's high and also same candle. These are the ones that we want to be trading, right? Because we don't want to be trading these candles with all wicks that expansion. So in order to trade this, right, if you're framing a reversal of a high and low of day, or a reversal point in general to get to a target, then it's gonna form a fractal model right away from that key level. So here you see this fractal model, right? So within a reversal profile, the low of the 4 hour candle, right, must support expansion, right? So small wick, and it also the low of the candle is often created by a fractal model on the hourly or 30 minute. So you see how this 10 a.m. candle, the low was created from this fractal model here. I didn't trade this just because the profile didn't really support it. I think someone took like this, if I remember. But probably a 30-minute fractal model as well. Yeah, so see right here, fractal model 30-minute. It's like whatever you like to trade, you can pick. If you like the 5-minute, then use the hourly. Does that make sense for the reversal profile? Now for continuation profile, it can be the same thing. So right now I'm just going over the reversal version. Let me look for an example of that real quick. That would be this one I just showed you guys. So if you look here, this is a continuation, right? It's not a reversal candle. I'm looking to trade a continuation away from the low day, which is just an expansion candle. But the low of that candle is formed from a fractal model. So what I'm doing here is the lower time of a fractal model confirms the low of the 4-hour candle. So now I can trade away from the 4-hour candle and catch the expansion of that candle while also aligning lower time frame expansion candles with that 4-hour expansion candle. Does that make sense? So that's the reversal version. Let's get into the aligned version. This is when you simply, a new 4-hour candle, right, opens up within a fractal model. And this is specific when the previous 4-hour candle actually reverses. So it actually hits a key level. If you look at this 4-hour, right, we don't really have anything specific on the 4-hour time frame, but drop to the 1-hour, we do, right? We hit this right here. So within the 6 a.m. candle, we hit a reversal point, right? I have a current low of the day, which is just 1800. That's a target, right? I don't have a, mechanically, I don't have an hourly close here, but I do have a 30-minute, right? We close inside that candle's range. So I'm expecting this 10 a.m. candle to just open high, create its high within a lower time frame key level within this wick, right? Just like a fractal model. So, but now at this case, or at this point, the lower time frame already reversed, right? So now the 4-hour can just expand, right? Because the reversal has already happened. But here we need, we don't have a C2 closure, or we do have a C2 closure, but we don't have that CSD and C2. So you have to wait for that. So you get that there, but the stop loss is too big. So again, I'm just going to wait for a smaller range right here. So I enter there, put my stop loss above here, and you can trade back into this range here. So I actually took this trade, but again, I got so greedy. Look at this. So I took this exactly. And it ran like, again, I was in one contract. It ran like 3 hour, but my greedy ass was looking for these lows. I was really wanting these lows, which look nice, but it reversed. So I like lost a lot of money on that, or like gave up a lot of money. But at this point, like, bro, it looks like we're gonna go to these. Look at these fair swings. That was unfortunate, but yeah, that was a trade that I took. But you see how we're just opening up within a fractal model? This is specific when the previous, either the previous 4-hour candle reversed, or maybe it can look many ways. So let's say, so there's this version, right, where I'm trying to draw, like, how do I draw this? I don't know how to freaking draw that. I'm like really bad at drawing, so I'm not gonna do that. But yeah, it's pretty much just when the previous 4-hour candle engaged with a key level, right? Or even, it can even happen where you're looking for a continuation. So let me try to find an example real quick. I can't really think of one on the top of my head. Maybe like something like this. Like, this is what I mean by continuation. Where like we're just trading away from a low of day. So this candle's a continuation candle. So like maybe somewhere within this candle's range, price opens up within a fractal model, which I don't know if that's the case. Let me see. No, it's not the case. This is another reversal profile. So I will try to find an example where it's a continuation. But it's simply, it just opens up within a fractal model, right? That's literally it. But I will try to find an example for you. I highly doubt this is one. Doesn't really look like one. Yeah, I didn't even trade that day. I remember that day. Maybe like one of these. What days? What time? Okay. I don't think there's gonna be one here either. Yeah. Okay, I mean, yeah, pretty much. Technically this is one, but I would never trade it. This is what I mean. So here's the 10 a.m. open, this next candle, and you see that we're just expanding. So if you wanted to look for continuation, you need a small wick, an expansion. But you see how we're opening up with a fractal model. So here we have a candle 2. Again, I would never trade this because too high in the range, but You get my point, hopefully. We're just opening up with a candle 3, right? So on the lower time frame, what would I need to see? There's a wick to form, so like this, and I'll simply just trade that, right? Does that kind of make sense? Like that works, but I would not trade that personally. So hopefully that makes sense. And then there's the aligned version, which is very simple. It's when you're already within a fractal, or you're already within a 4-hour expansion candle, and you get like some sort of a, fractal model within that. So this is actually one right here, I think. Hold on. No, it's not. Never mind. Let me try to find you one. Let's look here. So yeah, so this is one, right? Yeah, this is one. All right, so this 6 a.m. open is down here. So at the point at the of this fractal, always going to be continuation. Sorry, I'm like fun. Oh my goodness. Okay, sorry. So let's show you that how it's aligned already. So you see this is the current 4-hour candle. See how it's already bullish. Right, so this would be just like continuation, right? So you get a fractal model lower time frame, the 30-minute or hourly, just within an already existing fractal model. So you're just realigning 1 hour and 30-minute expansion candles with an already existing 4-hour expansion candle. Right? Here's that realignment. Boom. Make sense? Can you go through the trades this week and how you got on side with them? I feel like to understand how to frame trades pretty well. Yeah, I can in a minute. If we did all my trades, like we'd go over the time limit, and I just want to get to some other questions here. With your model, you look for a key level in the previous day, and then look for a 4-hour profile to align with that key level, creating hard. Yeah, so again, make sure I write this down. It's pretty important. Whenever you're framing like a continuation or reversal profile or whatever, just a daily profile, make sure you're framing from levels that are within the current day, so created within the current day. So what I mean by that is like a reversal off of like session highs and lows that were created in the same day, or from key levels that were created from the previous day. Nothing beyond that, okay? Because we don't want to be framing a fair value gap that's like so misaligned with current order flow and stuff like that. I'd use this like logic with everything pretty much. Like even for weekly candles, I want to be looking, if I want to frame a continuation weekly candle, I'm going to be looking for key levels within this previous candle, right? Or current candle. So like within this current candle, maybe we form a swing low to reverse off of, right? Or within this previous candle, maybe we have a fair value gap on the daily or something. You know what I'm saying? We have this opposing candle, right? That's what I mean by that. So yeah, make sure you do that, as it'll make it a lot more simple, in my opinion. So like this day here, reversing off the current day's reversal point. This here, reversing off the previous day, which is probably a fair value gap. Yeah. Does that make sense, kind of? But what was your question? Oh yeah, as far as like 4-hour profiles, it's really just about like daily profiles in general, and then just trading expansion candles, like 4-hour expansion candles, away from that. But yeah, you can just see the profiles, via 4-hour candles. But yeah, give us the forbidden sauce, that risky 4-hour. Oh, okay, sure. So I think I did, no. But yeah, a lot of times, like 90% of the time when you fade, if you want to fade a candle, the daily needs to be aligned, right? So does the profile, and all that stuff needs to be aligned. It's just news, right? So news will ideally manipulate, or maybe manipulate prior to news, but you need to have like a driver, right? Because if there's a driver, then there's volatility. So that's when you can fade a candle, pretty much. But I wouldn't really focus on that right now, to be honest. As it's not really necessary. Once you like master everything else, this is when you can start to learn that stuff. So I'll show you a trade that it took this week, fading the 4-hour candle on the 10 a.m. But again, it's because of the framework allows me. So look at the current day that we are trading within, right? It's a expansion candle. So what do I have at the lows? I have low resistance. So you also need a target. Like this is very mandatory, because if you don't have a target, then it's less likely to reverse and to expand, right? But if you have a target, like a low resistance target, then you can expect speed. Like you can actually anticipate that being a reversal. And price has something to expand to, right? So if you look at this 4-hour candle, pretty large wick, right? But when we look at this key level, this is like the only area for price to continue off of. So probability, right? It's to the left. It's 30. All right. The heck is going on? Yeah. Let me just try to restart. Great. Vacuum draining. Dude, what is going on? I'm just literally stuck. What the hell? Here we go. Holy shit. All right. Where are we at, bro? We're over here. That was so annoying. All right. Sorry about that. So when you want to fade a candle, like I said, the high of that candle needs to be created from key level. It needs to be trading within a expansion candle on daily, because that outweighs the 4-hour. You also need a target, right? So you also need this. With the way a bearish candle ideally forms is it opens high first, right? Now the only difference between this here is we're opening high and creating a large opposing run. It'd be a lot different. This wouldn't be valid if we did something like this, right? If we opened low first, like a significant low, and then came higher first, right? I would not be fading this candle because it's not likely to do all that, right? This is like one fluid motion, so it makes it a little bit more higher probability. We're just open high first and then expand, right? That's the way I trade this, right? So here's 10 a.m. open. We immediately open high first. The high is created from a fractal model. So you hit this here. I think I use a 30-minute, right? Yeah, use a 30-minute. And then I'm just trading the expansion candles away from that. Does that kind of make sense? See, there's a lot of other things aligned though. Like look at these equal lows to target. The candle's opening high first. The daily candle's already a bearish expansion candle, etc. Does that kind of make sense? But yeah, this is so annoying, dude. This lagging, it's like insane work. Insane work, brother. All right. So where are we at? I think I just answered this. No, I didn't. Oh, I answered that question. All right. So now we're at C-Train. Can you address on how to spot SMT during the trading session? I tend to catch them late after the move happened. I catch the CST easily, but not SMT in the moment. Should I wait for it to show? Yeah, so I use SMT to frame trades on the 4-hour, 1-hour, 30-minute. Now, as soon as one asset takes out a relevant swing that you would actually frame a reversal off of, not just these random highs and lows, it has to be like a swing that you would frame a reversal off of, right? So if I look at here, this day, now generally you're just gonna wait for a candle closure, right? So let me actually find that because I actually traded the candle too there. So like this one, okay? This is one a lot of us took. I did as well, so check this out. So as soon as it takes out the current day's low, which is a reversal point, this is when you're simply going to wait to confirm this higher time frame swing low, or intermediate time frame swing low, which is a reversal point. You're just going to wait for a closure. So you're going to confirm that with the fractal model. Right, so here we have a closure, right? So as soon as you get that closure, I mean that's your confirmation, right? And then to trade away from this, you need to be trading within a 4-hour expansion candle. So see how we hit a key level? That's check one. Do we have the daily candle support expansion? Yes. Do you have a target? Yep. Previous is high. So now are we trading within a 4-hour expansion candle? At the time when we created this, no. So we have to wait for a key level to be hit. So now that a new candle is opened, we're opening within a fractal model. So that's good. We can go straight to entry. So I took this on the 1 minute just because this here is a big enough range. When you take it from high to low, this is a big enough retracement for me to consider this relevant. So as soon as you close above this is what I took personally. And I traded it a little bit past this high. What was my entry? I think it was like the retest of this. Was that 2R? Yeah, it was like something like that. And then price like ended up reversing at some point. But I think we expanded a little bit past it. But see, I'm just waiting for I'm just confirming with the fractal model. Like as soon as it hits this relevant point, the other asset, like you just have to confirm it with that fractal model. And then on lower time frame, it's just relevance swing lows and highs and lows that you would expect continuation off of, which would have to respect. You can't have like a swing low that's swept, that's like creating too large of opposing run. So what I mean by that, like this would be a relevant SMT, right? Because we wouldn't want to see these lows being swept, because if the other asset, even if this is the fair swing asset, the other asset would have to create a huge opposing run, and so would this asset, which would start to disrespect the 0.5 this candle's range. So really, it would only be this swing low, right? That would be relevant to form SMT off of, which doesn't even happen, I don't think. So this is just a scenario. So as soon as the other asset hits this low, the way we confirm it is a little bit different. It's not closures on the higher time frame. It's just opposing candles, because that's what we enter on. Does that make sense? Hopefully I answered your question. So then you could enter off that potentially, but I hope that answered your question. I've noticed that I can sometimes do the GXT on a lower time frame, like hourly candle will hit a key level and close bearish. Then the next candle will open above and hours away, not sweeping it, and candle higher into 3 minute. Yeah, you can do it with the 15-minute. I was gonna put that in my course. Probably will add that. But yeah, I think I mentioned this a couple streams ago. So let's say you wanted to trade an hourly expansion candle. You will either open up within a lower time frame fractal model, or maybe the high of that candle will be created from a fractal model in the 15-minute. These are things you can do. Again, I'm lagging here, so that's cool. Okay, so look here. So the first 15 minutes of this 9 o'clock candle opens high, creates its high from a fractal model, and then 9:30, obviously a relevant time, just expands. Right? And so this 15-minute fractal model is supported by a higher time frame expansion candle. So yeah, you can do that. It's also supported by this 4-hour candle. So you're just aligning a couple time frames there. Yep, it's the same thing though. You could do that. Oh, what TV indicator shows the economic calendar? Type in this right here, live economic calendar by 2 degrees. Do multiple red folder news on a day often move the same way, or a lot? Generally, yeah, it can move a lot, but if they're like spaced out, then that's really good. So like if you have like 8:30 red folder news, then I would like to see 8:30. Let's say you don't have a higher and low of the day, and we actually saw this Friday in a way, kind of. Let's say you don't have an established higher low today. That first red folder news event, ideally, it creates it. It creates the high and low of the day. So then 9:30, we want to see expansion. Okay, so here's 8:30 right here. And ideally, we see 9:30 just expand, but we see 9:30 here. It comes back into the range, but it doesn't reverse. And this is what I trade in RTY. So ideally, you want to see like a two-stage news event where first driver manipulates, and the next one expands away from that manipulation. That's always ideal. But if you have like one at 8:15, 8:30, or like 8:30 and 9 o'clock or something like that, I generally like I will let them all pass, to be honest. They're just too spaced out. But yeah. So like if you look here at this trade that I took, jeez, dude, my mouse is tripping now. Like, what is going on? What a day. Okay, so look here. So this is 10 a.m. opener here. So if we go to the 4-hour candle, we just profile it. We just have a New York reversal. And we have failure swings. So see this low? This low? Within this 6 a.m. candle, we take out this high, which is NFP. I can expect a 10 a.m. open high, low, close, right? Are we opening up within a fractal model? Now, this is the only asset that opened up within a fractal model, so this is why I chose this pair mechanically. We also have a CSD as well. That's cool. So within candle 2, we don't have a CSD, so I need to wait for that. So we create it right here. So now it's valid to enter, but the stop loss is way too big. So I just enter on this fair value gap and put my stop loss above the fair value gap high. And that was my entry right there. Makes sense? Yeah, with a lot of news events, which doesn't happen a lot, but yeah. I generally just, I like to see the first one like manipulate, ideally. But if there's already an established higher low of the day, then that first news event, if it starts to expand away, that's a good sign that the other news event will just also expand. No reason to visit the low of the day. Can just your mic sensitivity in Discord is not pick up the vacuum. Oh, it's over now, so. All I hear is vacuum. Yeah, I'm sorry, dude. If a level was manipulated or reversed from an objective. When considering if a level was manipulated or reversing from an objective. Yeah, it's just I just use candle closes. That's really it. But when you think about a valid reversal, you want it to happen within a couple of candles. So look here. That's probably not a good example because maybe like this one. Yeah, this is fine, I guess. So the whole reason why I have these 3 reversal types when you don't have a maybe on this hourly time frame or maybe on the 4-hour time frame when you hit a key level, it doesn't show a reversal, but you can still expand within this next candle. It's just because of you want to see reversals happen within the first couple of candles. Because if price was to just hang around for like a couple more candles here and not expand away, that's clearly not a reversal. In reversal, we hit the key level and expand away like immediately. So if you see this low, we hit this low in one candle and expand away immediately. You know what I'm saying? So maybe even this high, like the very next candle, right? We just expand back in the range. Like, so you want to see, like I would never consider this manipulation here because we hit the key level and then we just continue lower. I wouldn't consider this hitting any key level really. Now over here, right? We took a lot of us took this, right? We have a manipulation, so we're expecting distribution into these highs, which is what we took. Now, if this is going to be a continuation, what would we not do? Do this, right? we'd either see continued expansion candles, or we can view this candle here as a retracement, but this next candle would need to expand, right? So it's really about phases of price on delivery for valid reversal points. I don't really use time frame alignment. The time frame alignment is within the fractal model, right? So if we hit like an hourly swing low, which is right here, right, then I need to see a valid fractal model, and the 5-minute, I guess, is my time frame alignment, I guess. But I'm not really too big on time frame alignment. I'm big on aligning expansion candles though. But I guess I'm subconsciously trading time frame alignment, right? If I'm trading the fractal model, there's obviously some type of alignment there. When it comes to entering around the drivers, sometimes I see a intercandle CSD and gets confirmed at, say, 9:15. Yeah, so I would only, right? I would only enter prior to driver when, like, early on, or like recently, prior to that driver, we form a reversal. So let me show you what that is. Actually this day exactly, I think. So here, I took this sell as well. So in order to get these lows, you need to trade away from a protected swing, right? So see here, this is the 8 o'clock candle we manipulate. So you see how, like, right before, you know, that 9:30 driver, we manipulate. So I'm just expecting price to expand into this low at 9:30. So you pretty much have to reverse prior to 9:30. So here's my entry right here. And 9:30 opens up like when, like right now or something. Where? Next candle right here. And I just expect it just to sell off, which it does, right? Because there's no reason to come back up and resweep to get to this low. Now, once we get to this low, then it could reverse, right? Potentially higher. Does that kind of make sense? So you have to, like, I'll show you another example I took on YM actually. Now, what day was it? I'm gonna just find it. What day was it? Maybe it was this day, bro. Oh yeah, it was this day. All right. Yeah, it was this day. So here is 9:30 candle. Now I'm looking to trade to all these failure swings. I'm expecting 9:30 just to rip lower, to be honest, but it didn't happen. But here, you see prior to 9:30, we have a candle 2 closure from a key level. But it's more about the lower time frame PA in this case, because on the lower time frame PA, prior to the driver, we have this manipulation, and I think we have like SMT as well somewhere. Yeah, we have SMT that high. Yeah. So, and we have SMT. So I'm not really anticipating, we're also in a 30-minute CSD. I'm not really anticipating, you know, price to really take out this high again and expand lower. Now, what would I not do? If price was way down here and we had this opposing candle, I wouldn't do that because price could easily just run me out. But since we're so close to a reversal point, right, we have not even taken out these equal lows, then I can just easily anticipate price forming, you know, at least expanding to this high to get to these lows before it reverses, which it does somewhat, but you're going to see. I think price takes a look at SMT and then. So yeah, 9:30 opens up, hits this up. It runs like 2R or and then it reverses again. Which bad. So much. It's unfortunate. My parents kind of live in the country, so kind of makes sense, to be honest. Where were we at though? We were over here. So yeah, does that make sense? How this one makes sense to just expect expansion right? Because we create some sort of lower time from reversal prior to it, right? We have objective still not taken. This is kind of what you want to be taking, which just takes more experience. I wouldn't even like worry about it. If you're not consistent with, entering around or, confirming these your bias with like comparing your entry with drivers, after they are opened, it's kind of hard to, if you don't know how to do that, it's kind of hard to do it, to anticipate where a driver's going to go before, you know what I'm saying, if that makes sense. If you see here, I'm also trading within that 6 a.m. expansion candle, where I'm assuming the wick is already formed. But yeah, we did some BS here. Like we took out this low and then formed an SMT and then retraced back in the range at 10 a.m. So that was annoying. When you wait for 10 a.m., when 9:30 creates high or low day, previous sessions do not create high or low day. Yeah, they don't. They wouldn't. So yeah, if there is no high or low day created, like maybe we hit a key level, but we don't reverse, well then you would look for just probably the session highs and lows to create a reversal off of, and that would happen at these key times, right? 9:30, 8:30. This is where you want to see these reversals happen at. Do I use breakaway gaps? Nah, not really. It's loud as fuck, yeah, dude. I was telling my brother to shut it off. Dude, vacuums the Wi-Fi, dude, no cap. This is like the worst stream ever, dude. Trash Wi-Fi vacuum going off. Oh my gosh, dude. I swear to God, it was chill right before I started the stream. And then all this stuff happens. Like, bro. Hey, Garrett. Is expansion candle MXM? So, like, swing points are MXMs. You can view a candle 2 closure as, like, the smart money reversal. And then candle 3 and 4 as, like, first stage, second stage distribution. But within those expansion candles, yeah, you can have, like, lower time frame market maker models. When do you know to enter retests instead of the candle closure? Am I back testing? There's a lot of moves waiting for limits. Okay, so I think you're asking for like entry. When do you enter? Oh yeah, so as long as the RR, because yeah, you will get missed a lot. As long as the RR is good enough on a candle close, let me show you like an example. Let's say you're entering here or something. This is actually something I entered on. It was a positional entry on YM. Right, I entered this, yeah. Now I entered on the 5-minute opposing candle. Put my stop loss above here, above the 0.5 of this wick. Right, something like that. As long as the RR, what I'm just trying to say is on your entry, as long as the RR is at least 2R to your objective, you should just enter. Now, a trade like this on InQ that we took on Friday, I can just remember. This trade. Here's your objective, right? These equal highs. Now, if you took a closure entry, it doesn't make sense, right? The RR doesn't make sense, right? So you have to manipulate the RR. You kind of have to demand a closure to get better RR. You can even sometimes put your stop loss to the bodies, which is what I do. Because a lot of times, if it's going to come to the bodies, especially when the bodies are really close to the wicks, like if it comes all the way down here, it's going to take you out anyways. So it got really close right there. But you see how the R is so much better? It's 1.65 now. Now I can kind of just extend it a little bit past there to get to R. Right? But it wouldn't make sense here to enter on the close there because the R is way out. It's not ideal, right? So, what is that? 0.7? It's terrible. So wait for a retest, you know what I'm saying? This is when you like have to wait for retest almost. But yeah, it's pretty much just has to do with that. But if that close offer too hard to the high, then just take it. You know, there's no point of getting missed on a trade. If you waited for everything leading up to that entry, if it's all perfect, you waited for everything, you don't want to get missed on that. Like that sucks. Is there an indicator to automatically plot higher side from candle opens without having to purchase T's indicator? Like separators for you? Yeah. Can someone link? I think TWX can link you that. Okay, yeah, he just linked you it. Never mind. Exactly what you mean. Did you like ask a question here? Maybe I missed a question of what you're talking about. Maybe ping me again. I think I lost my train of thought. Can you please check GBP on Friday? London candle open. Only 1 hour. Do you see the model present? I took 2 successful trades in the leg up. Okay, let's check. Alrighty. Let's see here. Now, ideally, there's SMT somewhere here. Let's check. Is this 1300? I just at first glance, I don't like the framework. It kind of just looks like consolidation and then just expansion, which price doesn't have to manipulate necessarily to expand, but it's hard to anticipate it, right? Like, okay, looks like we have some sort of like SMT. So I know you took this probably, right? So here's 1 o'clock candle, and then the London session opens up within a fractal model here. The framework is really bad, but as far as just GXT in general goes, yeah, that's valid. Like, but the framework is like pretty ass. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty bad. Maybe you have the CSD, but if there's so fair swings at the lows, I don't really like it, in my opinion. But yeah, that worked out. That is a valid. That is GXT though, like a 4-hour candle, 1 hour aligned. Yeah. I know there was like something here. I think this day, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, like here's 9 o'clock candle, open up, but then this. Maybe it's a 30-minute fractal model. Was it EU? Yeah, it was this. I think that was pretty nice right there. And let me check this as well. Yeah, so this as well. So the 8:30 candle. 8:30. You have this as well. So yeah, the majors have been kind of clean recently. I haven't looked at much of them, but there's a crazy expansion, huh? Like holy moly, look at this. That's insane. But yeah, mechanically that's you know, that is GXT, but the framework is like lacking in my opinion. I did review. That was Friday, right? That I just went over. Yeah. Okay. Was example I had 1.9 C2 form. Oh yeah. Question. Quick question, boys. This candle 1 or 2? Neither, because so it's not a candle 2 until we get a candle 3 closure, but you don't get a candle 3 closure, so it's neither. Like a candle 2s that don't form a closure where it doesn't close back in the range. or it does close back in the range, that so actually validates it a candle too. But when it doesn't do that, it closes like an expansion candle or something. It only becomes a candle 2 when you get a candle 3 closure, like a strong close below the body of candle 2. Yeah, my parents live in the country. I don't. A driver is like a volatility. It's like red folder news, 930 open on indices, and indices only. So don't use that with gold, or it's not relevant. GXC on lower time frame using 15-minute, 1 hour. Oh, okay, that's what you were talking about. Okay, yeah, that's fine then. There's also a 30-minute. So if you look at that day specifically there's no hourly closure, but within that hourly closure, there's a 30-minute closure. So it's like the same thing. It's like the same entry as you. See if I show you here. This is why I also had to create that that type of reversal, because it's like a hidden reversal. It's just on a lower time frame. So you see here, you can't tell there's a reversal, but when you go to the 30-minute within this hourly candle, there is already a reversal. You know? Gotta run, man. Yeah, I think we're gonna end this here, guys. How many trades do you take a day on average? I do take a lot of trades, but you have to understand that I'm trading. I don't copy trade. So like Top Step, I'm trading with 5 accounts, right? But I trade separately. So like I trade one account here, or like one prop firm with this trade, or you know what I'm saying, like that. That's how I just do it. I don't have all my eggs in one basket. So I usually get a trade a day though. You guys see me take a lot of trades. Yeah, that's because I trade multiple assets. So if I was to trade, one asset, like on CL this week, I maybe got 2 trades. I think, I don't really know. On gold, I think I got 3 indices. Shit, I think I got my most trades on indices. But yeah, like this day particular here, I took 2 trades. You guys saw me on YM. I took a shot lower, right here at 930. Right, it went 2R, but it reversed. I was looking for this low, so I got break even there. I actually took a partial, but yeah. And then here I took a shot down to these lows. So it's very heavily bearish biased. I would recommend watching. I would really only focus on the indices, gold and oil. If you guys are going to anything outside of that, you really don't need it if you're a futures trader. But indices, man, you're gonna get enough trades like alone, honestly. Even like 2 markets. And there's so many things that have to align. Like you would think it's over trading, but it's really not. You haven't taken any this week. Were you trading? Oh yeah, someone told me NG, dude. NG had like some crazy expansion. I don't even trade that much. I don't even have it on my watch list this week. I really don't even look at it. I was trying to trade PM session. Oh, I barely trade PM session. Micros, that's fine. Do 4-hour profiling. Is there a video where you go deeper to profile or 4-hour profiling? I struggle with that portion the most. So what you probably struggle with is daily profiles in general, because when you know daily profiles, the 4-hour, it's not even about like the 4-hour candle specifically. It's about the profile, like the daily profile. So it's about forming relevant reversals from highs and lows, or it's about forming a relevant reversal to form the daily high and low, and then just trading 4-hour expansion candles away from that. So when you hit a key level that can potentially form the high and low today, you're just going to ask yourself, are you within a 4-hour expansion candle. If you're not, you simply wait to see the closure, right? And then within that closure, you might have a lower time frame fractal model. So then you wait for the new 4-hour candle to open up to align yourself with expansion, because we don't want to trade within those reversal candles. But when you hit a key level to form the high and low today, and it does support expansion, then you can trade it. That makes sense, kind of. So it's literally just about, you know, framing daily profiles and trading within 4-hour expansion candles. That's literally it. Here, I'll post an entry in GXTS on a Friday lower time frame. If you don't mind, let me know what you think about it. Okay, bet. Oh yeah, I saw this. This was fire, dude. This is pretty clean. Yeah, that's a reversal day too. That's really clean. Yes, daily. Oh yeah, I took this as well. Yeah, I took this as well. A lot of us did, huh? I think a lot of us took this. Yep. So we saw 9:30 make an opposing run or something like that, and then it closed through or something along those lines. I forgot. But again, that's how we use drivers as well. We're just trading away from the low of the day, or the high of the day. Sorry. Key level within the 4-hour candle. So key level as in forming the high and low of the day from 1-hour or 4-hour key levels. Either of those. I don't frame highs and lows of days off like 15-minute or 30-minute key levels. No, I don't use 30-minute. And remember, if you're forming key levels or reversal points, high and low day from PA that is created in the same day or the previous day. That's it. And then we can use stuff for targets outside of that time window. We're not going to use a fair value gap that's like from 5 days ago. That's where a lot of people go wrong. Like that's where so many people go wrong. So it doesn't have to be created from a fractal model, but if you're going to trade a reversal profile or a reversal 4-hour candle, let's say a 2 a.m. reversal candle, a reversal profile, then that's a line in reversal, right? So you're going to be trading within a 2 a.m. 4-hour reversal into expansion candle. But you can't trade it if that 2 a.m. 4-hour candle is like a reversal candle, because it's not going to expand within the same candle. You look for the next candle to expand. But yeah, if it's a reversal into expansion candle, then the low is often going to be formed from a fractal model. If it's not, then the next step for the next option would be the align or the is it the aligned version? Hold on, I forgot what it's called. Bro doesn't even know his own course. What is it called? It's the aligned, right? Yeah, aligned. Yeah, I'm tripping. So it's either just these two. If it's a reversal profile specifically, because you can't open up within a fractal model if it's a reversal candle. Can you clarify what you mean trading within the 4-hour expanded candle? Are you waiting for the candle to close? No. So look. Go to a day. So like here. That's probably not the best example. So maybe I'm trying to find a reversal day. This was technically when I traded, so. All right, so I'm framing a reversal off this high, which is an hourly swing point, to this low, which is just the Asia session lows. So the candle that I'm trading within is a 4-hour expansion candle. See, I'm not waiting for the close. I can trade this candle, right? It's a reversal candle because it sweeps out the previous candle's high. But I can trade within this candle because it supports expansion now. If the wick was like way up here, I can't trade within this candle because large wicks don't support expansion. So I would wait for the next candle to expand. But since I can trade within this, I see that the high of the 4-hour candle is created from a fractal model. We have an ideal swing formation, candlestick closure creating an order block. So I can trade candle 3, open, high, low, close into this low. See that? And the next one. You can TP here. Does that make sense? And so if I want to trade higher, so I traded this short and I traded it long. Right, so you see how the 9:30 candle created a candle to closure, and the next candle open is the new 4-hour candle. So you can't trade within this candle higher. Right, we traded it lower, right? Because this doesn't really support expansion, right? This small body, right? We can already anticipate that because it's a large wick. But we can anticipate this next candle opening low and then continuing that expansion, right? So if you look here, it opens up within that fractal model. And we can simply trade this next candle higher into this high up here. So I took that. And notice how none of these were the high and low of the day. But what am I doing? I'm simply trading away from a protected swing or a manipulation to a draw. So from here to here. And then I see once we actually react to these relevant swings, this is a relevant level, the current low of the day, we form an SMT. So now I can frame a trade from here to all of these, basically the previous high, which is the relevant level, which is created from the previous day. Right? And then we form an SMT there. And I know some people traded this, and they took this short. And this forms the 10 a.m. high right here. So if you look here, but you see how I don't even have to be right. I wasn't right there technically both those times, but I hit my TPs. It's important where to TP. Like that's important because when you look here, this previous high is very far away from this high. So these are relevant levels, just like this low here, which is the current day's low, which is important, is spaced out between this low, right? And the fact, and here's why it's very important how we react here, because I'm thinking if we fail to manipulate this low and we go to this low, we're probably just going to go and take the previous low, unless we inside bar for the day, which we barely ever inside bar. But yeah, but that's probably going to wrap it up, guys. We're at like an hour and like 20-30 minutes. So yeah, I hope you guys have a good weekend. I'm so sorry for that, the vacuum, the bad internet. It's just because I'm at my parents' house, so I apologize for that. But yeah, y'all have a good weekend.